Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to Yahoo News, Israeli and Lebanese officials have reached an agreement during U.S.-mediated talks in Washington, D.C., to establish multiple trial safe zones within Lebanon. The deal aims to exclude fighters from the Shiite militant group Hezbollah from these specified areas. Both plenipotentiary ambassadors stated that they had reached a decision regarding a nationwide ceasefire across Lebanon. However, because active fighting is still ongoing on the ground, the pathway toward a permanent, lasting peace remains highly uncertain. Notably, Hezbollah was not a participant in these bilateral talks. Under the terms of the agreement, the ceasefire is contingent upon Hezbollah completely halting its attacks and withdrawing all of its operatives from the region south of the Litani River, situated approximately 30 kilometers north of the border. The agreement calls for the Lebanese military to assume full control over this southern territory, much of which has recently been occupied by Israeli forces during their cross-border incursions. Yehiel Leiter, the Israeli ambassador to the United States, expressed that both nations share a strong determination to implement the agreed-upon ceasefire. According to Al Jazeera, Indonesia's Rupiah has plunged to an all-time low, breaching the critical psychological threshold of 18,000 to trade at 18,028 against the US dollar. This severe depreciation comes as Southeast Asian economies grapple with a major energy shock triggered by the U.S.-Israel war on Iran. As a net oil importer, Indonesia is particularly vulnerable to rising crude prices, which have squeezed its trade surplus from $3.3 billion down to just $89 million in April, severely limiting the market's dollar supply. Additional pressure stems from proposed U.S. import tariffs over alleged forced labor failures. In response to the currency slide, Bank Indonesia raised its benchmark interest rate to 5.25% last month and tightened rules on foreign exchange purchases, requiring documentation for monthly dollar buys exceeding $25,000. Despite these interventions, economists suggest that soaring energy import demands and domestic dollar needs continue to outpace the central bank's stabilization efforts. According to NHK, Cuba's former leader Raul Castro has marked his 95th birthday in private, with the government releasing statements of peace on his behalf. This milestone comes at a time of escalating political and economic pressure from the United States. U.S. sanctions, including measures blocking fuel shipments from Venezuela, have plunged the island into a severe energy crisis, leaving the capital of Havana with electricity for only a few hours a day. Adding to the pressure, the U.S. Justice Department recently indicted Castro over the downing of 2 civilian aircraft in the 1990s. The economic fallout continues to grow, with Cuba's central bank announcing that major credit cards like Visa and MasterCard will no longer function in the country, and a Spanish hotel group declaring its withdrawal from operating 15 hotels. Observers are closely watching how the Cuban government will navigate these compounding challenges. According to a report by Phoenix New Media, BYD Executive Vice President Stella Lee has disclosed the company's strategic roadmap for humanoid robots. Lee confirmed that BYD is actively self-developing humanoid robots. Initially, these robots will be deployed as shopping guides and receptionists at BYD's Global 4S showrooms, aiming to address overseas labor shortages and the high costs associated with multilingual services, particularly in Europe. Once the technology matures, BYD plans to sell these humanoid robots directly to consumers through its extensive network of 4S stores, targeting the household market for tasks such as cleaning, cooking, and companionship. To optimize production costs, BYD will leverage its fully integrated automotive supply chain and manufacturing capabilities. BYD has already initiated its robotics layout by collaborating with UB Techs and Agibot. It has tested 150 humanoid robots in its automobile factories, with an internal deployment target of 20,000 units by 2026. Additionally, the first phase of BYD's Robot Industrial Park in Xi'an is now in production, boasting an annual capacity of 50,000 units. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.